What's up, guys and girls? This is a 3 a.m. podcast. My name is Sean.
My name is Charlie.
My name's DJ.
And we're just a couple friends. We tell scary stories, sometimes have hot takes on things, sometimes not so hot. But we always got hot jokes.
Oh my gosh.
So how you guys been?
Bro, did you see that shit I sent you on IG about the employees with Disneyland?
What?
No.
Oh, yeah, dude. I did see that.
Dude.
The whole, like, people that got arrested, dude.
DJ didn't see it, so I'm going to read it for you.
Okay.
Disney World employees among 17 people arrested in Florida child predator sting.
Bro.
Dude, happiest place on earth.
Happiest place on earth. That's exactly what I was going to say. That's wild, but unsurprising.
I know, man. It's like the sharks follow the blood in the water. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, it kind of makes sense.
If you create a park where the sole purpose is to lure children, then you're going to have people
Damn, that's sus, bro.
waiting
That's
and taking a full advantage of that.
Oh, true.
it's like Disney marketing team is like, we must lure the children. It's just crazy. It's sad. Like, you go there to have a good time. You're not thinking about predators, and then you have this shit come out. So, like, I don't know, ruins the magic.
Okay, bro. So one time I was at Disneyland, not World, but Disney nonetheless. And it was like around Christmas. So they're doing their whole Christmas parade. And we as a family, like me and my family, were like, hey, we got to get a picture. So we like line up to take the picture and there's someone missing. My littlest sister is not there. Oh. So naturally we're like, the f-? We all start like run. Well, we have the body system, of course.
Dude, one of these freaking
The
employees.
body or the buddy system? Okay.
Oh, sorry. I'm dropping lines
There
from
you go.
heavyweights, bro. The buddy system, like running off to find her. Eventually we did. So nothing like this. But still, that was like terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
Like losing someone in a group. And she was like 9 at the time.
Dude, did you ever get lost in like a grocery store with your mom?
Once.
That shit is traumatic. I still can vividly remember we were in Food for Less, which had like the slickest floors in the world. So I'd glide around, pretend I was like
Didn't even
Batman
have
or
to
something.
pretend like you had Heelys. You had them for real.
Honestly. So I was like gliding up and down the aisles, and all of a sudden I look around, my mom is gone. And it's crowded. It's like near the holidays or something. I've never been more scared in my life. I run around, it's like hundreds of people pushing carts every which way, and I see my mom kind of far off, and I was like, oh. And I run up and I jump on her cart because I always rode on the front. And I was like, Mom, I thought I lost you. And I looked up into this foreign Asian lady's face, not my mom. And I was like, oh. I just like jumped off and ran away. Eventually I found my mom, but I still like think of that, bro.
Bro, you know what the like most stressful thing in a grocery store as a kid is? Is you're lined up, you're getting up to the cash register, and your mom's like, oh, I forgot something. I have to go and grab it.
Oh, yeah. They're like, just wait here.
Just wait here. Like, because they don't want to lose their spot in line, and the guy starts scanning
You get
stuff.
Speedy Gonzalez. He's like, beep, 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 beep.
And you're like,
oh, shit.
what am I going to do when he finishes?
I don't have any money to pay for any of this.
That's so funny.
No.
She finally gets back with the dinos, and you're like, oh, God.
I was a really sociable kid, and it was problematic. So my mom had to constantly watch me because I would just go and talk to strangers and
She's like, can I get in your van?
introduce myself. Y'all got free candy in there?
Dude, that's so funny. Kalima, you were telling me about like a hotel or something? Oh, yeah. By the way, folks, Kalima's in the building. Shout out.
Back.
Finally, yeah. I was actually in Florida at Disney.
Oof.
So it's kind of freaking me out that there are
Dude, this all happened while you were there, bro.
Yeah.
For real, it might have.
You went strictly for Disney?
Yeah, we spent 2 days Disney and 1 day Universal.
Okay.
Okay. Disney's that big.
Oh,
There.
it's huge. You could spend 2 weeks there easy.
Really? 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Bro, I'm going in
Weeks.
October.
Yeah.
Bro, Disney World's like bigger than Oahu, bro.
Wait, so Disneyland in California, how small is that
There's
in
2
comparison
parks.
to?
Florida, like, it's gnarly. Disney bought a ton of land and was just like, I think it has a few zip codes.
That kind of had.
Oh, a few zip codes?
That's like a ludicrous song.
I got parks and area code.
Yeah.
The Disney there, I feel like they built it to kind of like balance out the forces of Florida, like with everything else happening in Florida. Florida man running rampant. everywhere.
Dude, an opposite in all things.
The hurricanes. Yeah, Disney was the only force that they could use to balance it. But
Or did that shit start when Disney came?
oh shit,
Oh,
Big conspiracy.
shoot, dude.
You're
Walt is Florida man.
Oh, the OG.
Confirmed.
Wait, what are the parks there?
So there's 4 parks. They have Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Animal Kingdom, and Hollywood Studios.
What?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
What is each park?
Bro, there's a lot like at every park. It's
What is Magic
Wait, isn't
Kingdom?
there like an Animal Kingdom too?
yeah, he said that.
That's
Shit.
just a zoo.
Oh, I'm thinking Magic
Animal
Kingdom.
Kingdom is like they have like a legit safari. Like
Yeah.
you go on a safari.
a zoo safari.
They have like
like
rhinos.
a hunting safari.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they give you
dude.
guns and
That's tight.
Magic Kingdom is like the OG one with the big castle.
Okay,
So
okay,
like regular Disneyland.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Isn't there an Epcot? Is that
Yeah.
a thing?
Yeah, Epcot's
What is
based off
Epcot?
of like the World Fair.
All I know is that it's a huge golf ball.
Yeah, it's
Is
got-
it in the ball? It's a dome.
there's a ride in the ball. Yeah. I think it's a roller coaster. I don't know if it's still going right now.
What
That's
is
wild.
so if Magic Kingdom is regular Disneyland, Epcot is what?
It's basically based after the World's Fair. Like,
What's the
Oh,
World's
yeah.
Fair?
yeah,
They used to do that shit when
Like
they
World
had like
Market?
no, like the world would come together and be like, "This is the latest and greatest in science."
technology and all of this. Yeah, yeah.
It's like they discovered
Like the
static
Geneva
or something.
Convention? But they try to market it to children?
Yeah, I guess.
Well, I mean, yeah, they
Geneva
design it to
Convention.
market to children and the parents that are going to be with them. So you got the adult food, which is really why I'm going. Just hella food.
Don't they have a sus ass like restaurant in Florida? It's like mad
In
racist.
Florida?
In Florida or Disneyland?
Florida, but like
Bro, that's
Disney
a big
World.
state. I don't know.
Continue with Epcot or
This is in Disney World.
the
It's
restaurant.
like it's like a throwback to like the slave era, and it's a restaurant.
In Epcot?
I'm 90% sure. We got to Google it.
This is the new
Racist
technology we
restaurant.
have. Humans.
Faster, stronger, smarter.
And then
Look
they
up
made
like
the movie Get
racist
Out.
restaurant
Expendable.
in Disney World.
Popular ride?
Did you come across it? Or did you
I
just
don't think so. No.
or did it just feel normal to you?
It feels right.
Either
All right, never mind.
Splash Mountain.
either or, what do you do? Epcot has rides too?
Yeah.
Like
Like rides, food.
they come together and they say these are the world's newest technologies?
No, that's the World's Fair. You asked what
The
that
World's
was. That used to be
Fair.
like a,
Okay.
that used to be a thing that like
Epcot was
actually
designed
happened.
after that.
So what do you do there?
More rides, food.
There's
Basic.
a bunch of rides, and there's like a giant circle, and every section has like a different country.
What are they? so
Oh,
the
yeah,
rides are
'cause they'll
themed
have, like,
off
different-
of countries.
Yeah, a lot of them are.
And they have like,
Like
food from that country too in the
continents?
same
like
area.
villages.
What is
Almost
it?
like
DJ's like, when do the Tahitians dance? Though?
It's like we're in East Berlin now.
But like in
there's a wall too.
It's like no potatoes with your no fries with your burgers
Ireland?
here.
Oh.
We're in Ireland.
You're just hungry as hell.
You have to go to the America Village to get the French fries.
Did you have a fun time, Kalima?
I did, yeah. But they are having a new Star Wars themed resort.
Oh,
resort?
interesting.
Resort.
So not a park.
No.
Okay.
But this thing is gnarly. So you show up, and the idea is that you're staying on a galactic cruiser. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
So you sit down in a room, and they like put you on a shuttle into space. Like all the rooms have big windows that look out into space. Like everything is themed off of it.
So like a screen.
Bro, you're getting closer to space than Jeff Bezos in that thing.
Damn. Yeah.
So
Oh,
I think
okay.
it's a 2-day stay.
Oh, I did hear about the food
Wait,
there
wait, hold
too.
on.
It's
Yeah, go
supposed to
back
look
to the food,
sketch,
dog.
bro. We're supposed to look like alien food, but it's like
I know the one in Disneyland has like
you
that,
can keep
that
going.
blue milk or
yeah.
yeah. They got like also like a burger that has like a green bun or something, just so it looks like all
it's
alien.
just a Krabby Patty.
Right, it probably is. They
So-
acquired SpongeBob.
2 days, guess how much? It's a 2-day stay you have to.
$3,200.
Oh, that's a good guess.
I want 4,500.
I'd say 4,501.
So
The Price is Right.
do you have a guess, Sean?
I said 4,500.
Preliminary price right now, before they've even started construction, $6,000
Holy hell, dude!
for 2 days.
For how many people? One people's?
I don't know.
When people's
Oh my gosh.
Per person?
We don't know.
I think it's a package, like a package.
Who has that budget? A to infinity and beyond
Bro,
budget.
I'm not
A
even gonna
lot of
lie.
people
I
have
saw
that budget. It's not us.
I saw
It's not that crazy.
straight up. I saw an Airbnb in Mexico that was a mansion that came with a chef, an activity planner, houses 25 people for 1,000 a night. That's you could do that for straight up a whole week
in Mexico.
in Mexico, dude.
You just got to gamble your life there, though.
Nah, yeah, dude, you chill, you chill.
I think it ties into this whole deal where like space is the new like
Fetish.
it's the new
Frontier.
club. Like nobody else has been to space. Like
the
Jeff
final
Bezos. That's like the
Star Trek, don't they say it's the last frontier?
final frontier.
Final
yeah.
frontier.
Final
You just
frontier.
said that shit.
Oh, did you? Damn.
I whispered it,
I
dude.
said it better, though.
I was just, incepting you.
That's crazy. Have you guys heard about like the secret? We've talked about like the secrets in Disneyland where the guy went around and like hid coins, and he hid like 10 coins, and some of them were so obscure, and he came back the next day and like 9 of them were found and gone.
What?
Like they meticulously clean. Crazy stuff like that.
That's wild.
There's like hidden restaurants, hidden clubs.
Yeah.
Oh, I did
What
hear
is it?
about- yeah.
Like Club 33 or something?
Yeah. Something like that.
Bro, that
What do you
club.
do? You just pay money to get into it?
A ton of
I
money.
think
Or
the
is it like-
starting first year fee is like 20 or 30 grand.
Holy hell!
That's toxic levels of like Disney adult.
Wait,
100%.
so
Okay.
but like, what do they do in the club?
You just be rich.
You just laugh.
Network
You just
and shit. Yeah.
That's it.
Burn money.
I'm paying
Whistle
30,
while you work.
Oh my gosh!
Bro,
Cosplay.
spicy, dangerous area. What are your thoughts on adults who love the shit out of Disney?
I think that to each their own.
I think there's varying levels.
There is varying levels too.
It's very prevalent where we live right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Utah?
Utah's a hotbed for Disney adults.
Everybody got Disney stickers on their cars.
Yeah, when you start putting stickers on your car of Disney, I think you've gone a little far.
But like, if you're putting
who am I to
stickers on
say?
your car, if anything, does that mean you also gone too far? Like the
I
people who have their
personally
stick
think
figure family
Oh,
too far for their.
Hell yeah. Don't rep your family. We know a lady who paid a muralist to come into 4 rooms in her house. In her kitchen is like Disneyland, the castle. In her kids, each of their room, they have all these murals painted. Like her entire life is Disney. Every time she gets a free day, she goes to Disney. Like flies to Disney.
I
That's her
mean,
whole
that's
life.
probably a little excessive.
To each their own, but that's some nerd shit.
I mean, we
Is it
nerd
worth
about
it?
conspiracy
Is it worth it, though?
theories, so we probably the same in their eyes, but different.
That's what I'm saying. Is it worth it? I don't know. That's up to her.
Yeah.
Like
To me, hell nah.
not worth it.
Not for me. Dude, that same lady who's obsessed with Disney, she used to be a manager of mine.
Oh, I know who this is now.
She straight up said out loud she doesn't consider the non-white princesses Disney princesses.
What?
So she's like,
I mean,
I don't like
mean-
Mulan. I don't like. She named all the brown princesses, and everyone's like, "So you like the white ones?" And she's like, "Huh, yeah, I guess." And we're like, "Whoa!"
Oh my
She
gosh.
just like didn't see the issue with that.
That's so cringe, dude.
Yeah, she's still working. She'll get canceled. Anyway, that's enough of Disney.
that's it?
You should just add her name. Bleep it if you want. But
Kelly, you know who you are? Oh! Dude, Disney Channel original movies, though? Did y'all ever watch them?
lit, bro.
I straight up
Did y'all
remember.
ever watch them?
Have you ever heard of that? I remember.
Sean even watched them.
Yeah, dude. We even saw those in homeschool, bro.
Oh, dude, what the? They probably had a Disney Channel original movie on homeschool. It was like,
Dude, they probably did.
I remember going home from friends' houses to be like, dude, sorry, like, don't look under the bed's about to drop, you know? Like, Brink is about to drop. I gotta go.
Oh,
you know?
dude.
I remember
Brink-
legit.
Johnny Tsunami, bro.
Do you know there's a Johnny Tsunami too?
Yeah, back on board.
Yeah, with Johnny Capahala.
That's so funny. There was one night Seth and I stayed up till like 3 a.m. Shit, I didn't even do that on purpose. And we were kind of like OCD and weird kids, and we got really stuck. We had to name every Disney Channel original movie we could, and we got all but 8.
All but 8, dude.
Keep in mind, this is like
I don't know if I could name 8.
Bro, we went so deep. Like hours.
High School Musical 1 through 4 is going to be 4 of those.
Do you remember like Smart House?
Oh yeah, dude.
Halloween Town.
Halloween Town, 1,
1,
2, 3,
2,
Calabar's Revenge, bro.
The thing is, there were a few things
Alley Cat Strike. Sorry.
that made you feel like Disney original movies made you feel, especially like when the intro was starting. Kids were doing like backflips.
Oh,
and
shit, into, like-
from like the film reels.
Yeah.
Dude, when that was starting, my heart,
Just fully bricked.
yeah,
Your heart.
Twitter painting,
Yeah.
dude.
And then on the Monday, going back to school and like having discussions.
Ooh, yeah, just the hottest takes.
It's like, I know he's 13, but like, if I became a leprechaun. That was like Lucky something, my 13th year. Motocross, you remember that? Motocross, you wouldn't be
motocross.
allowed to make today.
Bro, I was like
half the
scrolling
movies
through.
would not. Be,
Oh, true.
Half of all movies and media would not pass today.
So funny. What else is there? Dude, I don't know.
It's funny because there's like a clear line drawn between like our generation Disney and the next generation Disney. Like people will be talking about like
Band camp?
Camp Rock.
Yeah,
Rock
that's what
was
it is.
kinda
I have
fire,
no
though,
idea
bro.
what that is. I don't know,
But
bro.
we all had to think about it.
That was kind of fire, though.
Is Zoe 101 Disney
I don't
or
know.
is that Nick?
I have no
Either
idea.
or. Like it was all meshed into one thing, but
Like Sweet Life with Zach and Cody.
Okay,
that
but
was after
also
me.
unrelated, kind of related, like the cartoons on Cartoon Network when we were watching Cartoon Network versus now. I'm always like, the fuck is this?
Like in what way? Which ones?
Oh, okay. Actually, shit. The one I'm thinking of is actually also Disney. So it's not even
wait,
Cartoon
you're saying
Network.
cartoons that you used to watch compared to now? You look at the ones now and you're like, what the hell is this?
Like on Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
Specifically, like there was one where all these weird animals were in a house and they're like imaginary friends or something like that.
DJ looks ready to attack your thoughts.
No, I'm just saying the cartoons we watched were strange too.
I mean, Scooby Doo.
Real Monsters. Do you remember that?
I remember the dude with the hairy pits.
Hairy Pits?
That scared
Carrying his
me, bro.
eyeballs?
What the?
Yeah. That was Nick, though.
Rocco's Modern Life, Ren and Stimpy.
Nick.
There were just a bunch of Nick was like the risque version of Disney that like traditional parents wouldn't let their kids watch.
Dude, my mom would not let my sisters watch Rugrats because she thought Angelica was too bratty.
Bro, my wife, the same deal.
Yeah.
Like, she wasn't allowed to watch
Yeah,
it?
her mom was like, no, you're not watching that.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Rugrats?
That is funny.
My girlfriend
Yeah,
wasn't
Rugrats.
allowed to watch Spongebob growing up.
What?
Dude, now like 6-year-olds sing songs about eating ass on TikTok and stuff. It's like parents gave up, dude.
Do you remember on Nickelodeon they would have like the obstacle course, like you find the flag in the nose and you pull like the goo.
Was that
and
Guts?
What was that called?
Like Splooge or something.
Splooge.
Splooge. Splurge, Surge. Surge is also
Dude, Surge.
of our era. Lasted
Okay,
all
so-
but 2 years.
I didn't watch a whole lot of TV growing up, so what I did watch was probably the most mainstream, meaning like Scooby Doo,
Yeah.
or like Dragon Ball Z.
I think it is called Guts.
like-
Sorry.
Oh, it could be.
Did you know Scooby Doo, the movie in the 2000s, was written and originally filmed to be rated R?
No. What?
Yeah.
Way.
Yeah.
That sounds like
No, I'm dead ass. Like Velma and Daphne both had like titties, dude, straight up, and they had
Okay,
to
I'm
like
interested. What's up?
CGI all of that out.
CGI that out?
the one
Yeah,
with
like
Sarah
they did with
Michelle Gellar.
Herbie Fully Loaded. They had to like
They had to CGI stuff out for that?
they had to CGI or like reduce the size of
Bro,
Lindsay
are you
Lohan's
talking about the
breasts.
Scooby Doo that came out on Pornhub, not on
No,
freaking TV?
I'm talking about the actual Scooby Doo. It was supposed to be rated R. But there's subtle parts in the final cut that are very intentional that only an adult
Like
would
adult?
understand. Like in the beginning, they open up the van and only Scooby and
Shaggy.
Shaggy are in there.
Don't disrespect
and,
my
They're
childhood.
playing music from the radio, and it's past the Dutchie.
Party late. Yeah, there's smoke coming out, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, they're getting super high, and then you open it, and they're just like grilling sausages.
Yeah.
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 Kalima's finding something on the rated R Scooby movie.
Yeah.
Oh, I see some of the images
I don't
popping up, bro.
want to. I don't know if I should.
We need to petition to get that rated R cut out.
Yeah. Release that shit. It's 2021.
Who throttled that?
I don't know, dude.
Deep state, bro. The
Probably
deep state.
some like mommy blogger.
The mommy blogger.
Probably everyone who loves Disney.
They would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for those mommy bloggers. Let's start.
Let's start.
Where the hell are we? Give me our dice. All right, now we roll our 20-sided die. Okay. Now we roll our 20-sided die to determine in what order we tell our stories. Highest number goes first in the roll.
I got a 10. Charles got a 3. Deej got a 1.
Bro.
Oh no. We really should come up with something for critical roles.
We probably should. All right, guys, I'm starting this out tonight. I have a story from a listener who's submitted other stories before, and he's got some fire ones. It's our homie, Dan Smith.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Return of the Dan, bro.
Return of the Dan, bro. So he shared this a little bit ago, and he said the first wilderness, and actually, let me just really quick recap who Dan is.
Caveman Dan.
Caveman Dan. He's the one who told the story of West Desert. He was out on one of those, what are those called? Like a
youth.
youth,
problem youth.
like
camp
camp or
holes.
something. Yeah, basically holes without the holes. Well, basically these problem youth camps, and they had some run-ins with stalkers, cults, basically that kind of stuff out in West Desert in Utah.
And he took us out there.
He took us out here. It was like what, February maybe?
Yeah.
And it was kind of out there. It was pretty sweet. We were a little lost for a minute, but we made it. Anyways, his story. He is talking about the first wilderness program that he worked on. And he said it was out in Jarbridge and Bruno Wilderness area, which is, I think, edge of Idaho, like on the border of Idaho, Nevada. And Dan said that while he was working out here, heard the legend of Si-te-cah, Si-te-cah,
Si-te-cah.
Si-te-cah, or the red-haired giants that lived in Nevada nearly 2,000 years ago. So, they're
The ginger cryptids.
to the ginger cryptids, bro.
Soulless monsters.
But really, though. Anyways, their legends were passed down by oral tradition in the Paiute tribes. So these have come down for 2,000 years, and they used to live in the Nevada desert, or it may not even have been desert at that time. The giants were apparently terrifying, and they would harass the Paiute tribes and capture their victims to then eat them. So these cannibalistic red-haired giants living out in the middle of Nevada doing their thing. Now, the Si-te-cah also translate to tool eaters, Tule, which is basically like a cattail, like reed type situation. And the reason for that is they're said to have lived in these huts that they built out of like these cattails on Lake Humboldt in Nevada before it dried up. So these huts they built out of the reeds were out in the middle of the lake. Now, in this Si-te-cah tribe, there weren't as many in the tribe, but they were giant, and that's kind of why they brought trouble to the Paiute Nation, because there's a bunch of different tribes in the Paiute Nation. They were just bigger, and that's why they kind of caused all these troubles. So after generations of battling the red-haired cannibal giants, the Paiutes are like, we've had enough. And so they go out to all of their tribes within the area, and they basically send out this rallying cry to go against the red-haired giants. Depending on what like story or record or legend you listen to, one of them says that even the war lasted for months as they're coming after these red-haired giants, trying to just destroy them off the face of the earth. And as the war is coming to an end, the last of the giants are driven to one of their last strongholds in the middle of Nevada. Just outside of Lake Humboldt, there's a cave. Now, this cave in modern day is called Lovelock Cave. And they basically have this stronghold in the cave, and the Paiutes are not trying to go in. They're not trying to go in to fight them in their own territory. So they're blocking them inside the cave, and they demand that the giants come out and face them. And the giants refuse. Obviously. Now, afraid that the giants would resurface sometime in the future, they're afraid to let them just live. So the Paiute Nation stack up trees and brush and all of these flammable materials in front of the cave, and in one fell swoop, launch hundreds of fiery arrows off into this brush to burn the giants alive and suffocate them within their cave. So they light this entrance on fire and basically kill off the giants. Not long after, I don't know, years or so, apparently there was an earthquake that then closed off the entrance to this cave. And actually, Kalima, do you want to pull up the cave real quick? It's one of my images. This is Lovelock Cave. And this is modern day too. So like you can see where there's a lot of like rubble out there in front of the cave, even still. Now, as time passed, the giants kind of just faded into legend for the Paiute people and were all but forgotten in this oral tradition. However, the one thing that still lived in the caves were bats. So the bats, after even the earthquake closed up essentially the cave, there's still small entrances and everything going into it. In the early 1900s, so now we're getting closer to our time period now. Early 1900s, some of the settlers in the area notice thousands of bats coming and going from this cave. And at the time, bats are basically used for their guano, because at the time that was used for gunpowder. It was like a key element in making gunpowder. So the local people are like, we're seeing thousands of bats come and go in this cave. There's got to be guano in there, basically a gold mine of guano, basically. So they decide to unearth the cave. So they start opening it up, and that's how you see kind of the boulder field as it is right now.
Wait, tons of bats were going in and out of the cave.
Yes.
And how did they deduce that there was gold in it?
Sorry.
Bat guano, which is as good as gold.
Yeah.
Bat droppings.
Bat droppings.
It's as good as gold?
Back in the day, yeah, it was
Yeah.
very valuable. There's been
For
wars fought over guano.
Because it's used in
They went
making
batshit crazy?
That's where the term comes
Exactly.
from.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Why? Like, is it like a source of fuel?
Well, he said they use it for gunpowder. I've heard it was used for like fertilizer or something.
So there's a
Can you look it up?
specific element that's in it. Here, let me.
They like hell and needed it before like they invented something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
That's where the term batshit crazy comes from.
It's not
Damn,
that one.
I'm good.
Yeah.
So it was used for nitrogen because guano is a great source of nitrogen.
So I think Oppenheimer someone came up with a way to like pull nitrogen out of the air. So until then, bat guano was like
Basically
gold.
what you would use, yeah.
Yeah.
So like all the settlers seeing thousands of bats come and go from this cave, they're like, basically it's a gold mine for them because it's going to be worth a lot of money. Now, they unearth the cave and they start heading in. And first of all, they find hella guano in there. But along with that, they start to find tons of artifacts that were belonging to the red-haired giants that were just preserved in this cave because it had collapsed.
Which is insane. The first time we ever heard of giants were the ones in Afghanistan.
Also
And they were
in a
redheaded.
cave.
And redheaded.
Dude,
You're really a dying race.
bro, I am, bro. You know?
But we've never heard of giants on American soil.
Yeah, not on the podcast.
Outside of like Bigfoot, which I don't know if...
There's the mounds over like
Oh, yeah.
near the Great Lakes that people reckon are giant.
Well,
made.
one skeleton was unearthed that was 9 feet tall or something like that. And I can't remember what they called it. But basically it was like, I want to say it was like in Illinois or like Iowa or something.
Any on the West Coast?
Well, the closest would be here in Lovelock, Nevada.
Why is the baseball team?
The
Is
Giants.
there any credence to that?
Well, there's Giants in New York too, bro. I don't know.
Oh, damn. Two sports. I love it. I love all the sports.
Just the sports, bro. But anyways, basically they find all these artifacts and they're in it for the money. So they could care less. There's this company that basically materializes in the area to just go in and mine the guano. And they don't care about the artifacts. So it's basically being discarded. However, once archaeologists hear about the discovery, they went in to kind of go and preserve the artifacts, do a little more studying, and figure out what it is that they had found. And even though a ton of artifacts were discarded, it's said that thousands of artifacts were still like maintained. Ooh. Two of the most famous things that were found in the cave were two bodies of mummified giants. One being 8 feet tall, and the other one 6'5". They believe the 8-foot one was the man, the 6'5" was the woman. And I have a couple of pictures here to kind of show you. Bro, yeah.
Dude, it's so big you can't even see
that. The screen cropped it. Damn. These giants were huge.
They were so big, bro.
There's not enough pixels for these guys.
But basically, it's like 8 feet tall. If you can, there you go.
Oh,
there
terrifying.
You go, dude. Yeah. Dude, so scary.
Them legs, G.
Dude, legs for days.
Dude, I like me some long legs, you know?
So basically they find two bodies within the cave of Lovelock, the Lovelock Cave. And additionally, in 1931, more remains were found in the dried up Lake Humboldt, just close by the cave. And these were even bigger.
What, is that a baby?
I think so.
That's like the size of a human?
Dude, it might be, bro.
That's
Either
scary.
way, it's giant.
Mommy long leg. Can't stop looking.
Later on, the two that they found in the lake, one was 10 foot tall and the other was 8.5 feet tall. Ooh. So they find a couple of these remains. And even today, they have artifacts and like skulls at the Humboldt like museum, the local museum right around the area. And I don't know why Don Monroe was there, but I saw it on a bunch of pictures.
Is that like...
they may have named it Don Monroe. But anyways, essentially this is the legend that Dan heard while he was out in
Gone Monroe.
Dude, true, bro. This is the legend he heard. And like to this day, that's all we really know about them. I don't know if people even done like extended studies on the giants, because you don't really hear about them. It's kind of this obscure thing. But at some point, just a state over, less than 6 hours away, there were red-haired giants just wandering around here.
So they went into the cave and they just found like skulls and you said artifacts.
Artifacts. I
Any
may
other
have
artifacts?
actually, I might have
Like
one of those
what
pictures.
kind of artifacts? We're talking about like weapons.
Oh, that's the intro. Yeah, they did actually find, they have like images here, but not a whole lot of artifacts. This one's kind of the wildest one right here. Like in my opinion, it shows the jaw of like a normal human versus the jaw of the Si-te-cah. And that is huge.
Dude, that's not real. No way.
Cannibal giants of North America next to the cast of
the hell?
No way.
Bro, if you run into these things in freaking middle of nowhere today, they're either playing basketball or you're dead.
Bro, those are just Tongans now.
How big was Andre the Giant?
Huge. Have you ever seen him carrying a beer can?
Oh, there's a like giant versus like regular people.
Oh my.
That's terrifying.
Is that an actual skeleton? Like the lady with the legs?
I think so. Because that was the one that was pulled up earlier, but just by itself.
Dude, how is this not a bigger deal than it?
I don't know. Like that's something that's like blowing me away. I hadn't heard of these.
Dude, 102 episodes and we're only now hearing about these giants.
Bro,
Pretty small deal to me.
I have a folder of like giant research I've been doing.
Giant porn. Your folder?
That Si-te-cah erotica, bro.
You two need to grow up, okay?
Real big, real BBW.
All these
Hey.
giants. There's evidence of giants in Vietnam, evidence of giants in Japan, evidence of giant.
Giants in Japan are just like normal height
They're
people.
like 5'10". They're like, holy shit.
Holy shit. Holy shirt.
There's evidence of giants in Patagonia,
Oh, I remember those ones. I've heard of those.
and then Agartha.
Agartha.
Yeah, bro.
Well, you can add the Si-te-cah to your list.
That's sick.
But that's the story that Dan shared, and that's basically all that he heard in the legend.
Dude, that's crazy.
But it makes me want to go and check out like Lovelock Cave. And
should.
Why did nobody like weaponize the giants? They just want to kill all of them.
I mean, it
They're a
could
threat, bro.
because they were cannibals and eating them.
Yeah.
Befriend them and be like, go eat that nation.
Okay, you're right. You're right,
Take those people for us.
dude. The pen is mightier than the sword, but
Nobody was smart back then.
now they're like,
Because if we took care of the giants, dude, they would be the alpha race.
oh,
The Olympics would just be giants. Every country's giants fighting.
Oh my
That'd be so
gosh,
sick.
that would be
dude.
wild.
Giant households.
I thought you were going to say, you know how they were like, they trapped them in the cave?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say when they unearthed it, they were still in there.
Oh,
Because like redheads don't need sunlight.
that's true. We don't have souls to kill.
I was like, oh, dude, I was ready for it.
No, that's basically it. So shout out to Dan for sharing yet another story,
That's freaking wild. I've never heard of that.
and it's so close.
Yeah.
So
Who the hell lives in Nevada, bro? Like, I get now that like Vegas is there, but other than that,
Like Reno. Every time I
it's
drive
also
to Reno,
all on the edge too. So it's like in the middle of Nevada, nothing.
yeah.
No,
When I
nobody-
drove the road, there
nobody
was
fully commits to Nevada.
hell no. Like, I'm ready to dip as soon as I.
Yeah, as soon as another opportunity presents itself.
Nevada's a cursed state, dude.
It's strange.
It's very cursed. Like
There
Area
is-
51.
There are actual lawless, like trailer parks in the middle of Nevada.
I imagine
People
when I was
live there.
driving through it and like no cars for miles, it was a little like creepy, dude.
Oh hell yeah. Dark energy, bro. Like with all the mob history, all the serial killer activity and shit out there.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing that randomly Nevada has is more mountain ranges than any other state. Like if you look at like a topo map of Nevada, it's just line after line after line of like mountain ranges. So just ton of like mountains, caves, creepy ass shit. It's just all of the above.
Who settled there in the first place?
Bro, that's
Native
where the
Americans,
Donner
dog.
Party were
What
headed.
terrible decision making.
Native Americans, but like for Europeans, it was the Mormons and the mobsters, bro.
The
That's like-
mobsters and Mormons.
Yeah, that's like who like founded Vegas. And then aliens. Area 51.
True.
Terrible.
But like if you're a Native American growing up back in the day, it's like you had the option of growing up in California
Pacific
or
Northwest.
Nevada.
Oh,
Yeah, that sucks ass.
Pacific Northwest or High Uintas.
Yeah. Doo-doo. You should have moved.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And what are redheads doing in Nevada? It's like the sunniest state in the world.
So actually, and I don't know where the redheads come from in this story, the sense of the story, but I was reading a little bit on it, and apparently there's something to do with like how the air like contaminated the skulls and everything when they found it, that it made it appear like they had red hair, and that's where the legend comes from. I don't know if that's factual. That's just kind of what it seemed like.
True or false, redheads are the last group of people you were allowed to openly shit on.
True or false? The last group of people you can shit on? I feel like
Like
they're
without
the first,
any
dude.
repercussions.
Nah.
No, I'm saying like they're the last group you can shit on and no one will say anything.
Nah.
Oh yeah,
Who else
dude.
can you just openly
Where's
rip?
my rights
The
here?
Amish. I talked about that last week.
Can you just openly rip on Amish? People might be like, bro, come on.
Take a stand for them?
Come on, that's
Not a-
punching down.
Nah, dude. Not at all.
I mean,
I mean, with all the like the domestic abuse that goes on through them,
Just kidding.
you know.
yeah.
Plus, they won't. That you're
They
not
hit
going to get
on
any
themselves.
pushback. You're not going to get any pushback from them.
No.
Yeah, you're right.
So
That's true. Okay, fine. Redheads and Amish people.
imagine being a redhead Amish,
Dude, that is LeBaron James.
the bottom of society.
Crazy, bro. I love that. That was awesome.
Yeah, no, that was a cool story. And shout out to Dan for once again delivering.
Yeah. Okay. So giants are real?
Giants are real. Like we have, well, I mean, as real as dinosaurs are, because we have bones of them too. So.
How big was Andre the Giant?
Huge.
For real.
Dude, he had to have been like 8 foot, maybe
7'4".
7'4". He was small, bro.
What's
But he was wide.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's also
barn.
part of it. Like when you look at his hand,
I feel like the
the
tallest
size of a cinder
man
block.
that like recently has been like 9 feet.
Yeah. But those,
What's the tallest?
It's in meters. It's ridiculous.
What the frick?
8'11".
Ooh, that's close. That's tall, bro. Their head is out of this freaking room.
I'm terrified.
do you think they were mad that they weren't 9 foot?
Oh, 100%.
Dude, it's like how all dudes put their height as 6 foot on dating apps if they're
how
like
do you know
5'11".
that? How do you know what all guys do on
Oh,
dating
sorry.
apps?
I was talking to my sister the other day and swiping for her
Yeah.
because she doesn't want to swipe for herself. I got her hella matches though. I'm just saying.
Bro, that pose. That's the effing redheaded monster or redheaded giant from the picture.
Straight up.
That's the that's the house help in Adam's family.
Oh,
You rang
what is his name?
like Glurch or something.
Lurch.
Lurch.
There it is.
That's wild.
That's terrifying, bro.
Crazy.
But that's me for tonight, guys.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah, no, it was a fun one to read about.
Sweet. So I'm up.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
All right. So I left everyone hanging last week, and we're going to finish that story. I'll catch Kalima up real quick. So it is 1965, 1966 in the South Pacific. An Aussie man is out in the middle of nowhere testing some fishing equipment when he sees looming out of the dark an island. And curious, he grabs his binoculars and he looks at the island and he's like scanning the cliff sides. And on the lush green cliffside, he sees evidences of fires. And he thinks this is weird because fires don't randomly break out on tropical islands. So as he's watching and as he's looking around, a dark figure steps out of the bush, shaggy black hair, naked, staring at him. He's staring at it. It makes its way down a little bit to the cliff, leaps off the cliff into the water. Startled, him and his crew watch as this figure starts swimming towards his boat. So he yells at everyone. Everyone pulls up the ladder, pulls up the ropes. They're all scared. And as this is happening, several more figures are coming out onto the cliffside, and they start screaming. They see the body or the figure swim up and then disappear to the side of the boat, and they hear, "Help. We need your help." And this is where I cut it off, and I was like, all right, I'll finish the rest next week. We are in the South Pacific, specifically the Kingdom of Tonga. Malolele.
Malolele.
Hey. Tefehake.
Saipe.
Shaipe malo. You can pull up the first. They're specifically at the island of Ata. This island is southwest or east of the main island of Tonga. And this island has like a crazy history. Before we get into that, DJ, your dad is from Tonga. You've been to Tonga. Tell us about it. What's it like? What's the culture? What is the term fob?
It's been almost 18 years since I've been. So my memory is pretty faded. But I didn't really see the poverty. I don't think I was old enough to recognize any of it. I do remember staying at my grandparents' house, which is the house they've always been in. Farm animals coming in and out of the house. It's just normal. I thought it was the coolest thing, man. Like it made me think of Jumanji, you know? Catching our dinner, whether it was fishing. I remember going out with my dad and all his brothers and my grandpa, and we were fishing with you ever use that like ghetto rig where it's like a soda can and like the fishing line? Have you ever seen that?
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
like where it's wrapped around the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like a glass bottle, and you like throw your line with the hook on it, and you just reel it in with your hands.
Yeah.
I remember trying to catch like chickens, and I was like running after them, and all my cousins who I can't speak Tongan.
Yeah.
They could barely speak English, but they were laughing at me the whole time.
You're slow.
Yeah.
You're so slow.
You're not smart.
Yeah, you walk. Why you walk? No run.
But then, yeah, my asthma all acting up.
We have no asthma.
Yeah. We have good lung.
Yeah.
But they were smart. They would set up traps. Like they set up a little, it was like a frame of 2x4 with chicken wire. They'd stand it up with a stick and then just put some uncooked rice underneath, and the chicken would come and they'd pull the stick with a string and catch it, and then that would be our dinner. No, straight up, that would be our dinner. We'd crawl under we went so we could see Tonga, and also so my dad could see his grandma, because she was bedridden, and it was getting close, and she passed away a few years later.
Oof.
But we would like sneak into grandma's house, which was right next door, and we would crawl under her bed and we'd steal her snacks, like peanut butter.
You're
and
dying grandmother's
snacks. Well, my dad gave me
crazy.
the idea because he was like, "Oh, we would always steal like her snacks. They're under her bed. You should go look." So me and my cousins
And you're like, peanut butter.
crawl under the bed and steal her snacks. But Tonga is a really beautiful island, and it's very, I mean, like most of Polynesia, it's food and family, the most important things, and also religion. They're very God-fearing people.
Very traditional.
Very traditional.
Very cultural.
Yeah, I remember chopping wood for the fire to cook, and the axe was dull. And I hurt myself with it. It like ricocheted off the wood and it went into my shin.
Oh.
And
Bro, you have like a thing for hurting your legs.
I went to my grandma, who's still around, and I was like, "Grandma, I cut myself with an axe," and she can speak some English, and she's like, I have something. She went outside, found like some herb or weed, like picked it, put it in her mouth, and she started chewing it for 5 minutes. And then she spit it out, and it came out looking like pesto. And she just put it on my wound. And dude, I swear, in like 3 days, fully healed.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like no scab or anything. Like,
Bro, all the Tongans I live with have stories like this.
yeah.
They're like, I fell out of the coconut and like bone is out of my arm. And 4 days later, it's better. Like no scar. And I'm like, what?
yeah,
But they really do have some like healing magic, bro.
yeah, my dad would talk about how one of his brothers broke his leg or his ankle or something, and they would just massage it. They wouldn't take you to the hospital. They didn't have health insurance.
Yeah, massaging,
and they would
bro.
just like press their thumb into like where you broke your bone and just massage it for hours every day. And after 2 weeks, you're walking, running,
Playing rugby.
normal. Yeah, playing rugby, back at it again.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a very simple way of life.
You could say, I mean, I don't know about now, but back in the 60s, pretty primitive and super traditional.
Yeah, I mean, it was. We had electricity when I went, but it was like 2 light bulbs in the house, you know?
So crazy.
Like one in the kitchen and one in like mom and dad's bedroom, and like that was it.
Crazy.
Some electric fans. So that was like the mid 2000s when we went.
Okay, what does fob mean?
Fob
And why do we speak the way we speak
is
sometimes?
applicable to almost every third world country or foreign country, I'd say. Non-English speaking country, and it stands for fresh off the boat. And it's commonly used for Polynesians and Asians.
Yeah.
There's a funny show called Fresh Off the Boat.
Yeah.
But it's basically like your mannerisms, your tendencies, and especially your language. It's like not quite Western. It's just broken Western. Like they're trying to accommodate to Western lifestyles and language and culture, but it's not quite there, which is fine. but it's also just so funny.
It's
to, like,
so funny, bro.
Fob, like speaking fob in like Hawaii is like, I don't know. It's just something that everybody. It's I don't know. It's funny. It's so funny.
When I lived in Australia, it's like I lived in 90% Samoan areas, and yeah, people trying to talk to you, you just sit there. It's like so genuine and sweet, but it's the funniest thing in the world. They're just like, you go have a good day, and you're just like, okay, thank you.
Yeah. My dad's still a little fob. I remember I was not a good student. And the first time I got below a C, it was a D. And he's like, "Is this a D on your report card?" I was like, "Yes." It's like, "Is D for Tom?" Do I have a Tom son? And every time he'd go on his rant, Kalim was looking away because he knows my dad. Yeah, like every time he'd like get angry at me and yell at me, I couldn't keep a straight face. Man's English was so bad.
I'm sure that helped.
I was like, yeah, tell me about it, huh? Yeah. Tell me about it.
He's grounded. Yeah. Tell the story when they were taking a photo and your little brother jumped in the photo and it was supposed to be all female photo.
Oh, he's like, all the girls in the front are and all the men in the back, and like Bubba just like sits in the front. And he's like, "Bubba, it's you ladies?" It's so strange. It sounds if you've never heard, especially like Polynesian fob, this is probably not funny. But if you are
tuned out, they just turned it off.
If you're around it, dude, it's such an integral part of our culture
and humor.
And it's a huge reason why like everybody in Hawaii like makes fun of each other, but it's all lighthearted. Like,
yeah,
nobody takes it seriously. Like everybody dishes it out. Yeah, and you just take it.
Or you get a bunch.
Get a bunch through the face.
I got this story from My Favorite Murder.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. And they have a ton of sources. I'll put them all in the show notes and stuff like that. But yeah, this story comes from 60 Minutes and My Favorite Murder. All right, so this is where we're at. We're in Tonga, the island of Ata. And the island of Ata has a crazy history. It's a small volcanic island, and the beach is like tiny. And right, let's say like 20 yards off the beach is just like straight rocky cliffs. And actually, Tongan legend is the island of Ata is the first island that Maui and his brothers pulled out of the ocean. The very first. And they pulled it out and it was so mountainous. And they were like, man, we got to make this flat, like easy to live on. So they tried to stomp it, and it was a lot of work. So they're like, F that. And they just left it mountain. And when they pulled up the main island of Tonga, they were like, okay, this time let's do it carefully and let's make sure it's flat. So like the main island of Tonga, super flat. This one, 1,300 foot cliffs, just like right there. The lowest part of the cliff is like 1,000 feet.
That's so strange because the Tonga I know is flat. Like there are not even a hill.
Yeah.
And the main island in Tonga is tiny. And it's the biggest one.
So this is even tinier, bro.
To drive across from the main island in Tonga is like a strip. And to drive from one end to the other takes 45 minutes. going 30 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and everyone's like, slow it down.
Yeah.
You speed.
Yeah.
You mainland boy. So feel free to chime in with Fob anytime you want. The island of Ata. So this is 1966. I believe in 1863, people used to live on this island. There was a population of 350 Tongans. And an Aussie fisherman was just down there, pulled up to the island, and it was like, oh, I know what I'm going to do. And he kidnapped half the people. And he took them back and sold them into slavery.
Oh my gosh.
So the king of Tonga...
As one does.
As an Aussie does.
Yeah.
So King Tupou at the time, he's like, we're having none of that. Sent boats down there and made everyone leave this island and come up and be safer up near where everyone else was. So it was a completely abandoned island. And that's where we're at. Going back to the main island of Tonga. This is a year before that incident of the people with the boat and the thing swimming up to the boat, right? So this is a year before that, a year plus. 1965 in Nuku'alofa, which is like the main town on the main island of Tonga. There are 6 young Tongan boys. And they're between the ages of 13 and 16. DJ, do you want to pronounce these names? Or do you want me to do it?
I want to hear you do it.
Okay. So we have 6 friends between the ages of 13 and 16. The first one is Luke. Easy enough. Vei Koso. He's 16. Nope, he's 15. Then there's Stephen Fatai Latu, 16. Sione Fatuoa, 16. I'm just pretending now. And then there's David Tavita Siolaa, rather, 13. He's the youngest. Kolo Fekitoa and Mano Tatau. Say that one.
Good job, dude.
Totau.
Total.
Totau. He's 15. So Luke, Stephen, Sione, David, Kolo, and Mano. So these are Tongan boys. They're all going to a Catholic boarding school, I think. St. Andrew's College boarding school in Tonga. And they are super bored. And they hate it. They hate all the rules. So they're like, you know what? Let's go on an adventure. We should leave. And the other boys are like, you know what? That's a good idea. Where do we go? They're like,
Yeah, exactly. Where do they go on this island?
we can go to Fiji
Oh, that kind of adventure.
or we can run away to New Zealand.
Oh, okay.
Fiji's 500 miles away.
Oh, that's it?
New Zealand is 1,500 miles away.
That's more miles.
And what is Tongan's relationship or nature when it comes to sharing possessions?
They'll give you everything.
Yeah. And also, like, ownership. You don't own anything. So it's like,
That too, yeah.
if I need that, I use that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when I got to the Philippines, one of the missionaries there, it was Tongan. And if you're Mormon, he's the AP. But he would just come into our house and just start eating. It's like eat whatever we had.
And you're like, oh, that's, I was saving. No, it's chill.
Yeah. But then he'd always leave like $5. He wouldn't tell anybody that. He'd like leave it in the fridge.
But yeah, like when it comes to ownership, it's very different in Tonga. It's like,
Everybody
what's mine
shares.
is yours. What's
Yeah,
yours is
exactly.
mine. Because we're all family.
But everybody will like live that actually.
yeah.
Because people here say that.
And then secretly resent.
Yeah.
Anyway, so these 6 boys, they're like, F school, let's go. And one of them's like, bro, like I hate this fisherman guy. And they're like, yeah, we all hate them. So they said, let's go borrow his 25-foot boat. So in the middle of the night one night, they sneak out there, they get all their supplies, and they borrow his boat. Now, if you guys were going on a 500, potentially 1,500 mile voyage, what would you take?
Food. Lots of food.
That's it. Food and water.
Nothing else?
Nothing else.
So they took 2 bunches of bananas,
Food.
a couple coconuts,
Water.
a pack of sausages, and a stove.
Okay.
They took, like you two, 0 maps, 0 compass, and 0 water.
Bro, Polynesians didn't have no maps or compass. They
Use
used the
the
stars and the
stars, bro.
currents,
That's,
bro.
bro. This is like
You ever seen
1960.
Moana, bro?
Still, though, they still be using that. I went in the mid-2000s. We were fishing with soda cans.
All right, so they take the boat, they set off. It's idyllic. The weather is beautiful. Everything's going good. They're like, oh, man, this is adventure. This is life.
Yeah.
They cast out their soda can line, pull back a fish, and eat. And they're like, man, we did the right thing, you know? And David, the youngest, he's the best sailor. So like, David, like, do the thing. And so David starts doing all this stuff, and they take off. Sun sets, beautiful tongue, and they probably see a whale. And shit. Bro, they're like, man, we'd made the right
Really
decision.
living.
Yeah. Like, secure the boat, and they all go to bed. That night, they are woken up with water coming over the top of their body. A huge storm out of nowhere. They wake up to tumultuous waves. Like, the boat is about to capsize. So in a fright, they yell, David, like, fix it. So David, hurry up. He runs to the sail. They raise the sail. Raise the sail. Wind takes the sail away. Freak, steer us back. They try to steer. Rudder gone. Dude, they're fighting for their lives.
Rain, call away.
Yeah. They do an anti-rain dance. Their anchor, the anchor they had thrown down, that rips away. They are completely without anything drifting in the middle. And now, like, the storm lasts so long, they have no idea where they are. And they think maybe we're like halfway to Samoa in the north, but they have no idea. Quickly, they run out of their bananas. Quickly, they run out of the coconuts. Quickly, they run out of the water. So they're left 8 days with catching rain in a coconut husk, trying to fish, but they like get one fish or something that whole time, and they're close to like dying.
Death.
And they're out in the middle of nowhere. They're just aimlessly floating. It gets so bad, they can have 1 sip of water in the morning and 1 sip of water at night. That's the only liquid they have.
Bro,
It's
I'm getting thirsty. Just
yeah, I
listening
know.
to this
I'm
shit.
going to take a drink, bro. Exercise my privilege right here.
Don't forget to drink water.
Yes, everybody out there, stay hydrated.
All right. So it's bleak. And I'm sure they're all like, man, freak adventure, bro. This sucks. And one night they're drifting and they're all in a hungry daze, no water, just lying down. And out in the distance, they see a dark mass. They see land. The boat is going towards the land too. And they're thinking, man, this is probably like our best chance at survival. We got to get to that land. So these young boys circle up and they say a prayer. And this is how I imagine it going. Something like, Dear Jesus Christ, we think you make a mistake because this sucks. We see the land. Please help us to make it safe. Help us to have foods, water, maybe wife.
And happy.
Make us happy. If you think to bring us more trial, don't. Or make a bunch to the sky. And please bless Tonga to always smash in the rugby. Amen. Glory be to God. Anyway, 15-year-old Mono, everyone's weak. They're like lying ground. 15-year-old Mono's like, I'll jump in and I'll try to make it. So they say their prayer.
Eddie would go.
Ooh, Eddie would go. And he jumps in, battling the waves. And it's crazy because he's like a mad good swimmer, but obviously he has like zero strength in his body.
Right.
Makes it closer to the land, gets smashed right into the like super sharp rocks, cut, bruised, feels sand, stands up, and he says the entire world spins, and he like falls to his hands and knees. And he's crawling, the waves crashing behind him, and he puts his hand out and he feels grass. And he just lays on his back, calls out into the night, I made it. And energized by this, the rest of the boys jump in the water, swim to the island. They make it. This is night 1. After maybe taking a moment to say thank you, they need water. So they search. No fresh water. And like I said, straight up cliffs. So they're just stuck on this tiny little strip of beach. Mm. What they do find is a pretty abundant supply of seabirds or seagulls. I don't know if they're the exact same, but they call them seabirds. Mm. So they find the seabird nest, crack the egg, drink the egg. But they need more water, so they take the seabird, crack the neck, and drink blood.
Fuck. That's hard, bro.
That's hard.
They gotta live, bro.
That's fob.
While this is happening, boat crashes onto the rocks, destroyed. They're able to save like one oar, a couple strips of like wood, but like that's basically
Here's
it.
your boat.
Yeah. God's like, can't make it that easy, bro.
Returning it to their friend because they were borrowing their friend's boat.
No, they borrowed it from a dude they hated.
Oh, okay.
After that old guy. Yeah, it said it was like a local fisherman all the boys hated, and they unanimously were just like, yeah, we'll take his boat. All right. So I'm sure they go to sleep that night under the stars right on the beach after they drank the blood. They stand up and they're like, Next morning, they wake up and they're like, all right, this is really serious. We gotta set some rules. And they decide right there and then they're going to go back and focus on the traditional ways of their people. They have to stick together. They will open every day and close every day with a prayer and a hymn. They said, if we argue, separate, come back, and at the fire, you have to like resolve whatever's going on. They said about that, nights around the fire were for airing grievances. If anybody had something they didn't like, they talked about it. And then we say sorry. And then we pray and everything's okay, says Sione. One of the two eldest boys who took on a leadership role, if someone got really mad, like if I planned on something they didn't want to do it, you disappear for a few hours, look at the ocean, clear out your mind, and then come back. And then they're also Tongan, so every day, daily exercise. You had to exercise. You had to get big. So they're on this lower part of the island, and they're scavenging everything they can. And they live like this for the first 3 months. Drinking the egg, drinking the blood. And that's like what they subsided on. Anything they could catch. But like zero fire, zero shelter. There was like an overhang of rock, and they would like sleep in that for shelter.
Wow.
And they would try over and over to try to get up the cliff, but it was so like steep, so dangerous. So they'd like look for other spots to try to get up. They couldn't for the first 3 months.
Holy cow.
There was a outcrop halfway up the cliff that they found, and they found really old primitive knives. And they used these knives to now cut like more coconut. So now they had like access to water
Wow.
and more energy. And they decide, we've got to make it to the top. So the boys get together, they plan, and they finally find a path, and they're able to make it all the way to the top of the island. And at the top of the island is a crater of a dormant volcano, but also the remnants of all the people who used to live on the island.
Oh, yeah.
So now they make it to the top, dude. They have like supplies.
Shelter, water. Oh, yeah, because of the coconut water.
First thing they do is they're like, we got to start a fire. So one of the boys, he's like, I know how it's supposed to be done. And he sits there and he like starts making a primitive fire, a friction fire. And they said it took him like hours, but he gets the fire going. That first night they have a feast.
Ooh.
And this is what they eat: bananas, taro, tortoise, birds, wild beans, and fish.
Ooh.
Like they make everything they can.
Yeah.
And so they're up in this new place. They have access to like all this new stuff. They have this big feast. Morale is up. And the boys are like kind of coming to terms that they might be here for quite a while. It's already been past 3 months. Forgot to mention, while they're down on the lower part, they see a ship in the distance. They scream, they yell, and it comes and goes. Okay, so they're up here. They have their feast. One of them remembers, hey, my dad, he told me you can get water from the trunk of this tree. So they find this specific tree and they dig like way far down in the tree, and overnight it fills up with like a well of water.
Oh, what the?
So now they have water, food. While they're sleeping at that night, they hear a rooster, and they realize there's like hundreds and hundreds of wild hen left from the people who used to live there.
Brother.
They quickly build like a hut out of grass, set it up, and they're kind of living large. But while they're doing this in this new area, they're like setting up all this stuff. They come across the bones of an old man. And they kind of have a solemn moment where they gather around, they stare at this dead body, and all of them know that could easily be their fate. So they say a prayer, they dig a proper grave, and they give him a real burial. As they're setting up, out in the distance, they see another boat going by. They run to the cliffside and yell, and the boat comes and goes. Fast forward a while, they are fully into routines. They all have chores every day. They all have a role to do. When they started that first fire, they vowed never to let that fire go out again.
Oh.
So they started the fire here, they built the shelter, and they brought the fire into the shelter, and someone's job was to tend to that fire day and night.
Oh.
Every night they would close the prayer with like, please keep our fire alight. And every morning they woke up and that fire was still going.
That's beautiful.
Someone had to sit on a ledge and just watch the ocean. Just make sure they didn't miss another boat.
Yeah.
They had to collect eggs from like the seabirds, and they were really smart. They only ate as much as they could. They only ate the wild seabirds, and it was 2 birds a day for all of them.
Like not eating the hens, you're saying.
Yeah, and at night they start
Hella
a game
eggs.
where they chase hens. And so every night they just chase the hens through the jungle and make a game like DJ. Except unlike DJ, they're able to catch 200 hens, bro.
Oh.
And they fashion like huge pins for them. And they have 200. So now they have all the eggs they want.
Hell yeah.
Up in this new place, they have papaya. They have taro. They, one of them, or they all remember like the plantation or the farming. So they make a full on farm.
Bro, this is sounding pretty nice to me.
My bad, dude. I should have been showing photos. Let's go to the next photo. So this is where Tonga is. If you'd have no idea, it's northeast of New Zealand, way out in the Pacific Ocean. Go next. It's a close-up of Tonga. So if you look, there's Tongatapu, the main island, Nuku'alofa, where they started. And where they ended up is... Yeah, you can't
Is
see
it Atata?
No, it's under Inu,
Under Inu. Oh, what the?
way out there. So that's where the boys are.
And
Next,
they were trying to go where? Fiji?
bro, they were trying to go north.
They made it 30 miles.
The opposite direction?
This is like the cliff they lived 3 months in.
Shoot.
Wow.
Next. So they start to draw more upon the traditions of like everything they were told as kids and like the way of their people. They make a full-on farm and they have like a very thriving farm going. One night they're sleeping and the boys are woken up to a loud crack. And they're looking around and all of a sudden a huge crash through the roof of their shelter. A 40-foot tree fell and landed right by where they were sleeping.
Oh.
Like feet away. One day they wake up, they're doing their chores. 2 of the boys go out. They're collecting eggs from the wild seabird. And one of them looks up, let's just say Sione looks up and sees his friend. He's going to go down and last one. And these are treacherous ass hills, like straight down. He's going to go down to this last nest and he sees him just follow over the ledge of the cliff. Terrified that he just watched his friend die, he yells for the other boys. All the boys come and he tells them what happened. He fell. So carefully they climb down and they peer over the edge of the cliff, expecting to see the worst. Way far down there, they see their friend fallen and landed on a tiny ledge on like the side of the cliff. And he's alive. But his leg has like a compound fracture, bones sticking out of his leg. I have no idea how, but they climb down, pick him up, and they like bring him up the cliff.
They're like holding hands?
Yeah. They lay him down and they, once again, like call upon the traditions of their ancestors. I'm sure they go get that freaking magic pesto from your grandma.
And they start rubbing it out?
Yeah, dude. They like push it in. They like put pressure on it and they do rub. And they tell him, no more working for you. Like, we'll pick up your slack. And they roast the shit out of him the whole time. Yeah. So they call him like King Tupo every time. They're like, it's okay. You lay by the fire. I'll do your job, you know. And they just roast his ass. Bro, they build a gym.
Ooh.
A primitive ass gym. I have a
Sick.
photo in a minute, but not right now. We'll go to it in a second. Life's pretty good. They are slowly building strength. They're getting stronger. And they're like, let's try to go home. Now, remember, they think they're north. They think they're like halfway to
yeah.
Samoa. So they build a raft. And that's what that photo was, if you want to pull that up. They build a raft. They like use all their energy and make this raft. And they set out on a voyage. And they make it like less than half a mile or something away from the island. And it falls apart. They have to swim back.
Bro, who is there taking all these pictures for them?
We'll cover that. But lucky for them, they started going south. Because they thought they were north, like in Samoa.
Yeah.
And they were going south where they would have just like gone out into the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So it's like a huge blessing that their boat crashed, you know, or
Yeah.
their
They would have
raft.
been toast.
They get back to the island. They're pretty disheartened and they see a boat going in the distance. And it comes and goes.
0 for 3.
Bro. 6 months later, they're living like this. They build a bad... Yeah, you want to pull up the next photos? Bro, that's the gym they built. It has like a bench chair. It's like rocks and sticks and wood. They built a gym. They're getting stronger. Everyone's healed. Everyone's happy. They're convinced at this point they're staying on the island forever. There's no rescue. Mm-hmm. They build a badminton court. They play sport. One of them builds a guitar. He sings. Every day they sing hymns. They say prayers. And they're just like in this fully fledged like community.
Making it work for them.
Society, bro. Yeah, they caught 200 chickens, badminton. Oh, they also boxed.
Dude, yeah, this all sounds great to me. Like, I'm finna leave and do that right now.
All right. So this finally brings us up to where I started in the way beginning. One day they're doing their chores, and they look out, yells, "Boat! There's a boat!" Manu runs to the cliff, looks over, and there's a boat. And this boat is closer than the 3 or 4. I think it's 3 or 4 previous boats they had seen.
Yeah.
They yell, they scream, they holler, and the boat like stops. And it's like they think it's looking at them. Not wanting to risk it, Mono climbs down to where he can safely dives in. Swims as hard as he can to the boat. Boys follow him. They're all naked, they all have shaggy hair, they're all super dark in the sun. And they swim to the boat, make it to the boat, and they say, "Help, we need your help." And he says, in perfect English, that's what they said, but they said, "My name is Steven. There are 6 of us, and I reckon we've been here for almost 15 months.
Holy cow.
So the guy, the Aussie dude who's captain of the ship, his name is Peter Warner, and the ship is Just David. That's what it's called. He's super hesitant. They're scared. They have no idea what's going on.
Right.
They know that some of these perimeter islands they use to like send really bad prisoners. So they're wary, and that's why they were really afraid. Mm-hmm. Finally, they're like, "All right, pull him up." They pull him up, and they want to test him. So they start asking him all these questions. And the boys are just answering all these questions. They really want to make sure, "Are you actually from Tonga?" And they're like, "Yeah, we're from Tonga. We're from Nuku'alofa. We went to this school." They show him a picture of the queen, and they're like, "Who's this?" And they're like, "Oh, that's Queen so-and-so."
Yeah.
After like a long time of interrogation, they finally convince them. They're like, "Oh, okay, fine." And they're like, "We'll take you back." So they start their voyage. After 15 months of surviving on this island, they start making their way back home. This story is what Lord of the Flies is based off of.
Really?
No way.
Yeah.
That's wild.
In Lord of the Flies, Sean, can you like surmise what that book is about?
Basically, it's like shipwrecked like teens, preteens, and younger kids that basically end up on this island, but it doesn't go as well. It turns into kind of like this
Hunger Games.
Hunger Games, basically.
Yeah, there's a kid who they call like Piggy or something, and they like want to kill him and eat him, and it devolves really quick.
He
They become
might
savage.
actually be killed in that. But 100%, yeah, it devolves super fast. Just the more baser instincts of survival.
So they start making their way home. They get to Nuku'alofa. Immediately, police arrested.
What the?
You stole a boat.
And
And the fisherman did not like him. And he's like, "I want to press charges." So they arrested him.
But can they prove they stole the boat?
Yeah, well, like the boys confessed. But they get back and they're like, "We thought you were dead." Dude, funerals have been held. All of you have had funerals. All of your families think you're dead. It's this huge like celebration after they like
Got arrested.
Yeah, they get arrested. I think maybe Peter, the fisherman, kind of like helped take care of whatever funds or fees. So the boys are actually from like a smaller island, not the main island. Mm-hmm. So they take them home, and there is footage of this. But as they're coming home to their island, the entire population of the island is standing on the beach, waiting for them, like
That's wild.
singing, praying, crying. The boat like comes close to the shore. Their mothers run into the ocean, grab their boys. They have the biggest feast. Like everyone on the island is there. They're just like rejoicing, happy, family. They're back. They're it's just the best. And they have a huge feast. And in this feast, they have this certain type of crab that's only near Tonga. And Peter, the Aussie dude, is like, dude, this is the best crab he's ever had in his life. King of Tonga is so happy. You've done this beautiful thing for my country. Peter, what do you want? I'll give you something. And Peter says, I want to open up a fishing company out of Tonga. Fishing these crabs. These are the best crabs I've ever had. King of Tonga says, done. And Peter looks at the 6 boys and says, do you guys want to come work for me? And the 6 boys say, yes. And so they get to live their life of adventure like on the sea. They work for him. Eventually Peter moves to Tonga, and him and Mono are like close friends. Mono talks about Peter as being like a father to him. And for 30 years, he's like lives on Tonga. He's one of his best friends, and they work and they build this like fishing, crabbing empire together.
That's sick.
Peter actually passed away last year doing what he loved. He was like 95, 96, 97 or something like that. He was out boating and his boat flipped, capsized, and he passed away.
At 95?
Yeah.
Shoot.
Karen, she told this story on My Favorite Murder, and she wraps it up, and it's so beautiful, and she makes poignant points. And I was like kind of teary-eyed thinking about it. So if you want something that's really well delivered, go listen to that. But basically what she's saying is like every, kid in the West grows up reading Lord of the Flies. And that story is a story about children on an island who like war each other. There's a lot of huge rift between them, and it ultimately ends in death.
Yeah.
And she said, I think we should instead study the true story of the Lord of the Flies and the story of these boys who like in the time of turmoil came together, worked together, and drew upon like the traditions of their people and were able to survive.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
And that is the story. Do you want to go to the last photo? That's them with Peter, and they're starting their company. And I think there might be one more. And here's them. Here's the boys. That's the story of the Tongan Castaways.
That's wild.
That's dope.
So this story was like out there in the ether. It was covered by a paper in Australia. And they took a crew out to Tonga and they filmed. Like the boys took them back to Ata. And that's why I have all those pictures.
Yeah.
Because they told the story themselves. And they're like, yeah, we lived here for 3 months and just drank these freaking seabirds. And then we went up there. So you can watch this documentary. It's so dope. And it was kind of out there in the ether floating around. And someone found it on a blog and they were like, yo, like this story needs to be known more. And so it's an author. I can't remember his name. Let me just look real quick. It's Humankind, A Hopeful History by Rutger Bregman. And you can get that on Amazon. So he like wrote an article, 60 Minutes covered it and like did this whole documentary thing on it. So it's pretty freaking wild.
I pulled up I think the footage from the homecoming. If you guys wanted to see it.
Sick.
Families don't think we have changed too much. A few of us had girlfriends too. Perhaps they won't remember.
Along the waterfront, the word was spreading, our boys have come back. Then it was time for laughter and for tears, for smiles and words of endearment as the long heartache eased.
He's like, Ma.
I've been away for 15 months. Why you smother?
Yeah. I'm going back to the island.
Wow.
It's pretty cool.
That's a
If
cool
you have time,
story.
you should watch this thing. It's touching. It's crazy. But yeah.
It makes you wonder, like, if we were in that situation, or like in a group in that situation of just like lost.
Well, bro,
like,
first of all, I'm not Tongan, so I couldn't do half of what they did. Like carry their homie up the cliff, I'd just be like, you're dead. I'm sorry. Throw down big rocks to end your misery.
you're like, sorry.
Yeah, you were trying to go away with the boat, and I was like, I'm gonna see what's up.
Go away with the boat. Oh yeah,
When they
yeah,
swam out.
from last week.
Oh, yeah.
Like, nah, bro. Nah,
Effectively murdered them.
Dude.
My people. How dare you, dude. JK. That's a really heartwarming story.
It's dope,
I love
bro.
that.
When I heard it, I was like, I want to share it with you guys.
Dude, I want to talk to my dad about that.
He's probably, dude, pull up the photo, the last one. The bottom right is your little brother and dad, bro. Look at that. That's like Bubba's face.
The bottom right.
Yeah. I don't know. To me, he looks like a cousin.
Yeah. It's almost like they're also Tongan. Got tiny island. It's like 1,000 of them.
Yeah, talk to your dad. See if he knows anything.
I will. Is that you?
That's me.
Dude, I might call an audible with my stories. I just found
You might what?
call an
Call an
audible
audible.
with my stories. So the details on this are pretty hazy, so I'll try my best. But continuing along a somewhat similar theme with the Pacific and historical events. So the U.S. was testing atom bombs, right? It's World War II.
Like
yeah.
Micronesia or something, like Kittibus and stuff.
This is how they
Yeah.
created Godzilla, I think.
Yeah, I'll get to that in a second. So they were searching for areas to test because originally they were in New Mexico. And I think they're about 50 miles south of Albuquerque. And they tested the atom bomb. And I think the lead scientist on it said that none of us on the entire team that worked on this preconceived the actual results. Like it was just that much
More
more
powerful.
powerful and drastic than any of us dreamed of, thought of. They still had some tweaking to do, and they kept doing testing after bombing Japan. So they're like, we need to find some place to do this. So what do? They sail around the Pacific, and they find an atoll. So this atoll, it's not even an island. It's like a skinny strip of land, and if you look at it, it's like a ring. There's water in the middle, but there are inhabitants there. And the name of the atoll is called Bikini.
Oh,
Have you heard of this?
yes.
The Bikini Atoll.
Bro.
Yeah, so Kalima will pull it up on screen. That's the Bikini Atoll. So there's inhabitants there. And they say this is the perfect place to test the bomb. They're going to test it in the water. But they get there, and the U.S. Navy or the military is trying to convince them to move away from the island. They say,
The
we
people?
want to, the people. They say, we want to borrow your island.
Borrow your island.
Yeah, much like the boat. So we want to borrow your island. And there's videos of the people. So actually, I think National Geographic goes down with them to do this whole thing. So this process is extensive, and they want to market it, make it propaganda for the people back home. And they have the people reenact these white people coming on ships and landing and bringing them gifts and saying, we want to borrow your island for some testing or whatever. And they use basically religion to convince them. They said, like, God has sent us. Like, the good Lord Jesus, like, wants this to happen. This is a good thing. And they convince them. And the people are like, okay, thank you. And there's videos of them getting on the boats and, like, waving at everybody and
This is
piling
heartbreaking,
on.
bro.
And they take them away and they commence their testing. Obviously, okay, first off, this bomb is, I think, at least 3 times bigger than the ones that they dropped in Japan. Obviously, there's no place for these people to return back to. But yeah. So, and Kalima just brought up the picture. This sparks a huge controversy. There are people in the States who are livid about this, and rightfully so. But this it becomes like a cultural shift. This is where the term "the bomb" becomes like popular.
Like that's the bomb?
Yeah, like people say, like, "Oh yeah, this food is the bomb" or whatever. You know, atomic was a really like popular word back then. Like you'd say it to describe somebody who was cool, like that girl's atomic, or it created this whole cultural shift. China,
That girl's Hiroshima, bro.
yeah,
Flat.
China took this and used it and used it to create a story of how the U.S. made this bomb, and from it came a radioactive beast.
Are you
And-
sure
and
that's not Godzilla? Or
Terrorizes
Japan?
terrorizes the Pacific.
That's Japan made that.
No, China made Godzilla originally.
Do not take that away from me.
Maybe I'm wrong. Like I said, the details are fuzzy. I know it's a Japanese thing, but I think they marketed it to Japan as propaganda. So Japan like took it on. A famous fashion designer in France named his new scanty beachwear Bikini, just because it was a popular word.
Like the word bikini wasn't used before that?
No.
What,
Named his new fashion trend Bikini just because it was a popular word and people were talking about it. And
Bro, they need
also,
to change that,
And
dog.
also the symbolism of it,
Let's
because
cancel that shit.
because
Dude, how come bikinis haven't been canceled? Yeah.
the symbolism of it too, because before that, like it was all about like dressing modestly. So this was like something taboo
Yeah.
you couldn't do. Just like how like stealing an island, like it was wrong, you know?
You want to know why? Because no one gives a shit about Micronesians, bro. Unfortunately.
Yeah. But that's the story of the Bikini Atoll, how the bikini came to be, Godzilla.
Bro, there's more to that story. Are you going to go into it?
I was doing a bunch of research, aka watching a ton of YouTube, and I didn't get through all of it, but that was like 20 minutes worth of what I did watch.
Just to wrap it up a tiny bit more, this is also the theory and origin story of Bikini Bottom.
Oh
What?
yes, with SpongeBob.
SpongeBob.
They did talk about that.
Yeah. And it's like they live in Bikini Bottom. All of the creatures are supposed to be a result of like radioactive things. So like a sponge who has like, you know what I mean? A plankton, all these friends and stuff, they're all like radioactive.
The flowers in the sky in SpongeBob are like supposed to be explosions.
Yeah. It's all based off that.
Bro,
Yeah.
that conspiracy though.
Crazy, dude.
That bomb is the reason why Micronesians, like, they pretty much have a free pass to become U.S. citizens
Yeah.
and access to like U.S. healthcare and stuff. So that's the reason why a lot of Micronesians are in Hawaii, because it's the closest place.
They
That's
just
America.
completely wiped out their home.
That's wild.
Freak, dude. That's
Super
crazy. I love
interesting.
that.
Yeah.
I hate that,
Terrifying.
but I love
Hate it, love it.
learning about it.
All of it. Yeah. The story I did prepare tonight, I'll give a little preface because it's going to be the bonus.
Ooh.
I'll give you a little taste, but we're continuing the theme of the water. And we're taking it to the other side of the planet, much colder. It's Russia.
Ugh. I mean, sweet.
So in the 1900s, a Russian submarine was traveling, and on their radar, they see 6 objects traveling in formation, heading towards them at speeds of over 260 miles an hour. They stop, and so does the unidentified craft on their radar. Fearing for the worst, the captain of the submarine calls for an emergency surfacing. They start moving up.
He's like, hell no.
I think they're about 300 meters underwater, which isn't super deep. They start heading up, and they can see somehow through their radar that the aircraft is also moving up and following with them.
Wait, is it an aircraft up in the air or is
No,
it submerged?
in the water.
Okay.
In the water.
So whatever kind of craft, it's like in the water and it's surfacing with them.
Yeah.
For frick, bro.
Yeah. Yep. The captain is quoted, Yuri Beketov. He says, "We repeatedly observed that the instruments detected the movements of material objects at unimaginable speed." He said that the speed, it's hard enough to travel 250 miles an hour on land, let alone in water. And I think the current world record for the fastest like craft, underwater craft, is like 230.
And it's like in knots, so you don't even really know. It's like
That's a lot of knots.
But this, whatever these unidentified underwater crafts are, it's mimicking them. And they get to the surface, and it gets even crazier. And that's what I'll be sharing for our patrons. So, patrons and non-patrons, head to our link in our Instagram bio. It'll take you to our Patreon page where you can listen to this story. So we're here at the surface of the ocean, the Russian submarines, and they have these unidentified crafts following them.
All right, we back. What up, every other listener? You guys just missed a giant story.
Bro, that was the biggest one yet.
Had me feeling the bends, bro. Had my blood boiling. No, that was freaking crazy, and I'm mind blown.
I've kind of like wanted to go to Lake Baikal. Like, so of the places in Russia that I've wanted to go to, like Baikal, Kamchatka, like a couple of just crazy outdoor places are some of the places I've wanted to go. And this kind of makes me second guess that.
My list of places to go in Russia, nowhere in Russia is number one. Anywhere else is number two.
Dude, Kalima's wife was a sister missionary for the church in Russia.
That's so crazy.
I think St. Petersburg and Moscow would be cool too.
She was in Siberia.
Oh,
Yeah.
She has crazy stories.
did she go to the Ural Mountains?
Yeah, she was in the Ural Mountains.
That's freaking wild.
I saw there was a documentary on YouTube of like the day in the life of this poor Siberian woman. Holy shit, bro. The bleakest thing I'd ever seen. She like wakes up, it's like 40 below. She has like salted water for breakfast. And her job, she like walks in the frozen forest and tries to find berries. And she tries to collect berries and then sell them.
Frozen berries?
Dude, it's so bleak.
Why are
everything
you
is
there?
muddy, everything's sloshy, everything is sad and gray and
Move.
vodka and I was like,
Vodka.
Move.
I know.
Literally.
I know, like the
real.
people in Nevada, it's like, what are you doing, bro? Like, go anywhere.
It doesn't have to be like
Take a
this.
direction and walk. Could be different. Yeah. Anyway, be your own change in your life out there. Make moves.
Be the change you want to see in the world.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Tonight was super fun.
Yeah, no, it was a good
I
time.
loved it.
Got some good
Listeners,
stories.
we could not do this without you. Thank you so much. We continue to grow. And yeah, big things to come.
Yes, yes, yes. Until next week, bye, love you, be safe.
Trust your gut, watch your back.
Wait, hold on, give me a second. Be careful out there.
See you, folks.
I feel gross, bro.
I legit couldn't remember mine.
Bye, let me be safe.
So I'm glad you caught on. I'll sleep others.
Hey, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of 3 a.m. If you want to support us, visit our Patreon where patrons have access to exclusive content. If you're not able to support us monetarily, don't worry. This episode is on us. You can still rate and review us on whatever platform you listen to us on. It really does go a long way. You can also follow us on social media. Our handle everywhere, including Patreon, is the 3 a.m. pod. Finally, do you have any scary stories? If so, submit them to our website, the3ampodcast.com. We love any audio or visual aids that can help bring your stories to life. So file uploads are welcome with your written submissions. We're anxious and excited to hear from you.